Oh, let's try this. Boom, let there be light. Hello, David. Hello, Bob. Hello, Totally Awesome. Hello, Michael. Hello. Oh, seeing the mods popping all over. Hello. Let's see who all. Let's see, Alley Cat, Fly Girl, or Florida Girl, it probably means. Hello, Optimistic Gal. It's good to see you. Oh, no. Ah, 11 years. Pretty long run. No, I enjoyed time with the family, with Zach slash Zester, my sister, yesterday. It was awesome. Gonna get a little more time this evening. Visit's going great. She leaves tomorrow. Miss Austin, I really do. Miss Austin Martin, I really think you will. Yeah, are we ever going back, Kevin? I don't know. You'll have to harass YouTube and find out. Unfortunately, that is not one I have any control over. Coffee is tasty this morning. Billy, is it going to happen this weekend? I don't know. I hope it does. We'll talk about what I am hearing as we get to the news, though, and then we have Mr. C this morning. Let's see. Texas Snake 9:30 last night. Stay alert next 24 to 48 hours. Hello, Fluxlight. Hello, White Wolf. Hello, Fred. Whoa, slow it down, Fred. Today is one of the two most incredible days of my life. My daughter Olivia's birthday. Happy birthday, Olivia. It's also Laura Lebo's birthday. Looks like David is going to jump in here. David Joseph is going to jump in for a birthday as well. J-Bar, I've been alert for 5. Yeah, entirely too alert. Freya is going to be 72 tomorrow. Happy pre-birthday, Prius. Hello, J.L. McCoy. Lulu. Jules, I'm ready, right? Can we do it this weekend? I'm ready. What do we want to talk about today? Let's see. First things, in a recent clinical trial this year, women who took 2.5 grams of collagen peptides daily for 8 weeks saw an average of a 25% reduction in eye wrinkle depth, 9% improvement in skin elasticity, and a 29% book in skin hydration. Proving collagen can visibly strengthen and rejuvenate skin from within. That's why I use today's sponsor, BioTrust Ageless Multi Collagen. Obsessed with the results it's giving my skin. More impressed with what it does for joints. BioTrust Ageless Multi Collagen helps supercharge skin health using 5 premium types of collagen needed to help reduce wrinkles. Notice smoother skin, more elasticity, more hydration, fewer fine lines, and a youthful glow. Plus, it helps improve joint strength, bone strength, connective tissues on top of my skin health. For limited time, you can grab a bag of BioTrust Ageless Multi Collagen for 51% off at healthwithmarkz.com. Plus, you'll receive free VIP live health and fitness coaching for life, free ebook titled The 14 Foods for Amazing Skin, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, and free express shipping with your order. Again, you can find that at healthwithmarkz.com to get this deal. Links in the description on YouTube and Rumble. Hello, Miss Melody Jordan. Oh, wait a minute. Slow it down. I see Blairsville Maverick checking in. Meant to share with you my experience with the BioTrust versus other allergic to shellfish. Does not contain any allergic reactions or high for me, but liquid collagen that I've tried does. That's interesting. Glad no problem from the powdered one. Yeah, what do I think about the timing of the market crash? Good. As they talk about, I'm curious what is happening today. There should be a bit of a, yeah, it's not even showing me the Dow right now. See if I can trick it. It's down 576 points. The AI bubble is popping. That correction could be timing right now is what I'm getting at. I know Michael Burry and a few others are saying it is imminent and it is happening. Keeping up. There we go, Laura Lee Boo. Happy birthday. You were the first one we talked about for a birthday today, I think. Farmer V, Walmart CEO, announces retirement January. Have you seen all of the politicians that aren't running again? Lady Rebel, that's a praise report. Said, I think this crud the grands gave me is finally receding. That's great news. Yippee. It's a birthday. Let's see. Jules Bell saying Dowling had a great podcast with Mr. B, a Charles Schwab guy. See, someone posted on Facebook yesterday about military all over Washington, D.C., complaining about them not doing anything and just standing around. She may be doing a whole lot, right, Blue Dot? I mean, they may be doing a whole lot. Barefoot, why did silver crash so low overnight? Massive paper contracts being sold back and forth between the major banks in the U.S. and European banks. In other words, price manipulation. The harder they push to manipulate the price, the closer they come to straining and breaking. Hargis, happy birthday, belated to Maggard or Carmindi. Carmindi, I like that one. Neat name. Hello, Mr. Fullard. Where are we at in the time to run? If they've run out, they have to run out of paper con. They just keep creating them out of thin air. But the more they do that, while you can't get your physical supply like you should be able to in those volumes, the more people have to admit, this is all BS. Every time they go to that extreme on the price manipulation, they're this much closer to breaking. Gold has the same issue. Yes, it does. Do I think we'll go before Christmas? I think we'll go before Christmas. Do I know for certain? Absolutely not. Lost my underwear and Bitcoin lately. Just hang tight. You'll get your underwear back and probably a pressed suit to go with it. Rexy, isn't that a great question? We'll talk about bonds in just a moment. I don't want to have to do it 2 or 3 times in a row. Yeah, Jason, I think that needs to be our goal before your birthday. Golfer in Savannah, I really believe the 50-year mortgage and 15-year car ideas are Trump's drawing attention to the ridiculous interest we're charged for auto and home loans. I think you're right. I think that's exactly what he's doing. He is calling out the absolutely absurd and presenting it as possible, similar to how they did it in, I know, Modest Proposal, where they suggested eating babies because of the famine, couldn't feed them. Why not just eat them? In order to draw attention to the insanity of what was going on and government response, etc. I think you're right. I think that's exactly what he's doing. I think that's exactly what he's doing. David, right? You don't lose anything unless you sell. If you hang on till it's up, then you gained. If you sell when it's down, you lost. Start reading these. Mr. Cantu, hello, Rudy. Buenos dias, bonjour. Okay. That's too many words. The shenanigans will begin. Wait, who left you unsupervised? Yeah, unbearable. I am definitely getting more salty. It's like humanity's getting dumber. But I do need a bit of a reset. I need to dig, find a little more patience. Let's see. Tammy, I kind of like this one. Said I looked up the number YouTube put on my name with the Stong's Accordance. I don't know what that is, but it means redemption. I like that. Let's do the redemption. 50-year Jubilee. I think it's supposed to actually be a 49-year Jubilee, but we should be on it. Should be our Jubilee now. Grumpy. Don't know if I'd say extremely tired, but I'm kind of tired. I've enjoyed having my sister in town. I'll rest on Sunday, be ready and back in the saddle on Monday. Let's see what's going on with the budget. They passed a continuing resolution to fund the budget through January 30th of 2026, meaning 2 months, 2.5 months, and we get to do this all over again. Old woman. No. Well, I shouldn't say that. I can tell you my contacts with different Indian tribes, I'm getting differing stories. But the short of it is, it has not gone to individuals yet, either way. So we seem to be in some kind of crazy holding spot. Oh, 11:11. Let's get to it. Let's get to what news we have. On the bond side, it has been one of those weeks where every time I turn around, a meeting is like let's say they had one on Tuesday. Well, let's have a meeting on Thursday. Let's have a meeting on Friday. We keep getting a 1 and 2 day delay when they are meeting for final payments, but they're asking them to stay close. To me, this means, or how I take that, is that we are this close, and as they are dotting I's, finishing things, they want to keep everybody in position to do it all at once. That's the only thing I can make sense, because I keep getting bond people, moves it a day, moves it 2 days. I've got one that had one today, already moved to, I'd have to go back on the dates, Monday or Tuesday. I had to look at the calendar. So I'm getting a lot of back and forth on that front. Probably means we're very close because they want them to stay in position. Only on a handful of them is anybody footing the bill, though. So most of them are staying put on their own dime. And they're only going to do that for so long. All right, let's keep running. Newsweek selects, although somebody else asked a good question. I have not heard any update from our redemption folks since Wednesday. They were expecting to be on call this weekend, but I don't know if they are, they're not, or scheduled. Do you need DNA to prove Native American Indian? It's my understanding, no, but you will need a confirmation from the tribe. In other words, do you have any documentation from the tribe? You don't get to just go, I'm Cherokee, give me money. Are you a member of the tribe, or whichever tribe? Benny Hill silver spot went from 53.53 to 50.06 overnight. Wall Street's nothing but a corrupt cesspool of thieves. Absolutely is. And you know how they stay in power? By bribing politicians to pass laws for them and protect them. Newsweek selects. This is what I mean by the honeymoon phase post-election. Sudani is riding very high right now. Newsweek selects Al Sudani for the cover of its next issue on the Iraq First Vision. The huge changes over the last few years, the stability, the prosperity that is coming to the region, the number of millionaires, billionaires they are minting in the country as they are turning it on its ear and heading for the future. Time to shine for Sudani, for Mohammed Shia al-Sudani. Talking about the rise, the return of glory for Iraq, etc. That's the honeymoon phase. It feels good because we're going to ride it to a increased value on our currencies. Ain't right? Cover of Newsweek, time to shine. Loving that one. Behind closed doors, another huge for Sudani, as there has been so much political maneuvering by Maliki and crew behind the scenes of the formation of the government. The framework proves the position of al-Sudani and cuts off the path of the formation of a new bloc. Maliki's been blocked. Iranian influence has been blocked, or at least minimized greatly. Very positive politically. Very positive politically for Sudani and for a increase in value of the dinar with what we were watching going on. So positive stuff out of Iraq. On the rumor side, all that, guys, I'm getting nothing. Don't even have a response from my prosperity package reach out. from somebody in Omega. Hang tight. We're going to get the news as we get it. It really is cool about the cover. Really is. Let's get rid of this banner and keep going with a little bit more news. We have Mr. C today, so we compress the news in about half the time as normal. I don't think we're going to get the 2K for Christmas. I know Trump's pushing for it, but Congress has been pretty pathetic. I'm hopeful that we will, but I'm not counting on it. Sorry about that, alley cat. Drip, 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 boom. Slowly, 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 suddenly. Good piece over at the Ron Paul Institute by John W. and Nisha Whitehead, who really owns America. The banks, the billionaires, the deep state, the coin, debt slavery, as they chain us to work forever. The politicians, I like this quote from George Carlin. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. It's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it. George Carlin, we have to change that. Restore the American dream. We have traded out paying for a house with leases, car leases, 50-year mortgages, 15-year car loans, and it is not sustainable and it is not fair to humanity. And they really spell out what has happened in broader terms. I just enjoyed that one. I wish more people would read this. I wish more of our politicians would read this and understand where we, the people, are at. I'm going to drop that link in hopes that some of you folks will read it, think about it, reflect upon it, and reflect about what we can do to change it. Time to stop looking for answers from government. All right, got that one dropped. Nothing. Nothing deep state. No, nothing deeper state than BlackRock CEO Mr. Fink. Yeah, the name really does. Really says a lot in my book. Yeah, some of you folks that have, like, for instance, if I can find this one again, somebody said their mother or grandmother was 100% Cherokee. Whichever, if you guys have Indian genetics, recent, you should consider applying to the tribe. Yeah, Fink stinks. It makes a good rhyme too. $57 wants more than $2,000. Calcium. Whoa, slow it down. We could follow Francis how to deal with it. Grab our yellow vests, take to the streets. Let's see. Mark, the 50-year mortgage, 15-year car would be perfect for us with the RV coming soon. Low payment till we RV and then wipe. Maybe you got a point. I'm having fun. Some of these are great. September mornings. My kids are tribal. Big bonus for Christmas. That was it. Hunter Guys said great grandmother was 100% Cherokee. Flying Squirrel, if my math works, you should definitely look at what it takes to become a member and get in touch with those roots. All right, let's keep running. We got other things to talk about, so we'll be ready for Mr. C. Futures tumble as AI euphoria goes into reverse. Or as Michael Burry said, the AI bubble is about to pop. He said AI is going to change much, but the euphoria is too soon. So he's looking for a massive burst, and it appears that bubble is shaking and moving as we speak. For those that have not been keeping up with the Dow this morning, we're down 454 points presently. Full SNAP benefits to be restored by Monday, Agriculture Secretary says. Rollins said states responsible for distributing the restored benefits through their own systems, but they will be funded by Monday. Let's see. That full supplemental nutrition assistance program, SNAP benefits, would be restored by Monday, November 17th. This came the day after the 12th passage, so look for your SNAP benefits by Monday or sooner. This is just a side note because this is kind of the short-term future of our country, and it's very important. Many of you folks may actually qualify in here. 5,000 job openings with six-figure salaries remain unfulfilled at Ford, according to the CEO. He was pointing out, we've got bays, we got tools, we need skilled people to use them. We don't need a bunch of college graduates. We need people that understand how to work and technical. Talks about how his father was middle class and worked in order to working jobs like this, and how he's be able to provide, trying to bring back that dream. This one kind of felt good, even if it was Ford. Even if it was Ford. Talks about the essentials in the economy and how we keep sending everybody to college, but we don't teach them how to do things that are useful. AI, these are the last jobs AI will take. First jobs they're going to take is going to be your accountant, your paper pusher, your in a big law firm. They'll be able to get rid of probably 90% of their interns, clerks, etc. Accounting firms, similar. Middle management groups, similar. Stock market analysis. In other words, white collar is dying far faster than blue collar in this revolution. Eagle Claw, take that same question and just throw it into search engine and the internet and see what you hear. Ask that same question to Grok or Chat GPT. I did want to mention this one. Who are the 47 members of Congress not seeking re-election? It is way heavy on the Republican side. 20 Democrats not seeking between Congress and Senate. 27 Republicans not seeking. In a year in which there is a slim margin for the Republicans, this could be devastating. I just wanted your thoughts. Do they know the writing is on the wall? When you look at some of the names from McConnell to Pelosi and some of the bigger names, you do have to, Tillis, you got to ask yourself, are they getting out? Did they cut a deal? Curious to see what you guys think on that one. B. Joel, the deep state billionaires that own us are going to be very upset when the conservative billionaires outnumber them 3-1. B. Joel, and we are moving that way quickly. Moving that way quickly. Somebody, I think they cut a deal already at Kitmo. That's a couple of people have added that one. Compromised. Lots of rhinos. Yeah, some of them, based on age, I can understand what's going on. Some of them doesn't make much sense unless they are running from something. The Ukraine orders an audit of all state enterprises after nuclear energy graft scandal erupts. I know it's crazy. Yet another corruption scandal where money that we've been giving to the Ukraine is going to other areas. Millions of dollars here, shopping sprees, cars, luxury houses, mansions. Really bad look. I don't know if anybody in the Ukraine is paying attention, Zelensky, etc., but it's a really bad look. When you're asking other nations for billions of dollars and you have that much corruption and that much of our taxpayer dollars, we have homeless vets on the street so that we can send you money. There are homeless people on the streets all over Europe so they can send you money. We have a devastated armory in our military so we can send you arms, and it's going on shopping sprees and cars and kickbacks. Yeah, that is not a good look. I know it makes me not want to ever send any money. Not a good look. Yeah, I love that one. Julian Assange said 98% of Washington is corrupt, and Q said we will see politicians not seek re-election. Wow, there we go. 47 of them already. Seeking a spraying skies. Everybody sound off if your plane farts have gone nuts. Gloria, happy birthday. Interested to see what you guys say. It's the MBU in VA students. In Virginia, students were protesting yesterday because liberal arts classes for minors are being cut. I'm a fan. of expanding your education and including some of the liberal arts. It helps us think. Unfortunately, it's a luxury for when things are going very well in society. So when you look at some of the first things to be cut, it's logical that that's what's cut. It sucks, really does. I get it. I'm a big fan of theater and the arts, but which one's more important? Your Shakespeare play or all these families eating and having a roof over their head? This is an easy one. Really, really easy for any rational thinking human being. Security and safety is more important than your poetry. Boy, I'm going to offend some folks. And I think poetry is important. I'm just saying this is not a competition as which one's more important when you've got no money. It's a real easy one. Yeah, Eastern PA, Virginia Beach, families are more important. Spraying daily, farts in New Mexico. They said they've gone crazy in northern Arizona. Offend them. I like offending them. It's kind of getting fun. It's good to have you live. Good to see you. Hello. Table meals, family sit downs. We really do. We need to rediscover ourselves. Oregon, Wilmette Valley, lots of them. Rashane, have you noted that, guys? I didn't even bring it in here because I figure you guys are smart enough. The Democrats trying to release documents, and then they wiped part of the names from an unnamed witness that says they saw Trump at some of the Epstein events. I would like to point out that he held and hosted some of the biggest events in New York for years before it was out in the public that he had done anything wrong. So yeah, Trump probably attended some of them, along with people like Pelosi, along with people like Bloomberg, along with many other very high-profile people from around the world, and especially in U.S. politics and Wall Street. That same witness who said they saw him there had also made a statement, like reportedly under oath, and said she never saw Trump do anything wrong or questionable. So that he was seen at these along with all the other elites of the world. That would be like looking at somebody that went to the Super Bowl, and because somebody that was at the Super Bowl was a criminal, now suddenly they're associated with them, even though they're in this huge stadium with all kinds of people, absolutely unassociated with anything stupid or crazy. But now you're guilty just because you were there. If that same logic holds, and you think about it, was probably 80 or 90% Democrat, probably 10, 20% conservative at these events because where they were held, you do the math. It has got to be the most desperate, and Democrats are trying to run from that release now because it is backfiring fast and hard in their faces. Probably should have covered it. I just didn't think it was worth covering. Green Bay, St. Louis, man, bunch of them. It is almost mystery time. Okay, one last quick one. Key ocean current is faltering, raising the risk of an ice age, like cooling an ice age. The last time we saw this was about 12,000 years ago at the end of the ice age. A new study in Communications, Earth and Environment warns that a key Atlantic current could near collapse within decades, potentially triggering an ice age scenario and a major sea level rise. Yeah, got to hear it every so often. But now it's an ice age. Instead of global warming, it's global cooling. But if they're right, average temperature drops 60 degrees Fahrenheit in Northern Europe and much of Northern America, around the world, the northern latitudes. I'm here, though. I'm in the warm. I'm ready. But they're talking about it happening around 2100. Well, bring it down, Kelly. Do you think these people leaving Congress because they've done something wrong, or just too old, or do they know something we don't? I think a combination of all of the above. I'm surprised by the number that aren't too old that are getting out. course, there are a handful that are running for other positions, like leaving the Senate, running maybe for a governor of their state, maybe taking a job in administration. But the overwhelming majority are just dipping out. Okay, let's do this one. I am ready for Mr. C. Well, I say I am. Give me all of 1 second. All right. Well repairs in North Carolina. Son checking in. All right, now I'm going to be ready for Mr. C. Call in when you're ready, Mr. C. Well, no, I'm not frozen. I just quit moving while I responded. The year without a summer, they'll engineer it. Yeah, they will. Annabelle's mom, you got a good point here. This is a great point. Annabelle's mom, they've never left before because they were too old. Nancy, Chuck, all of those. That's a good point. Right, Mr. C?
Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fighting sinus problems, but I'm okay.
Wait, sinus problems?
Yeah. Cold, hot, cold,
Hot.
All that good stuff.
Yeah, it's that time of year where the weather plays like yo-yo and ping pong, and it runs havoc on everybody. Going between dry heat inside, cold moisture outside, the back and the forth. It really does work you over.
I've noticed the older I get, the worse it gets.
Yeah, just you got a med bed hiding anywhere, Mr. C?
Not yet. I'm
yet.
waiting.
So how are things in Pennsylvania? How are things? Have the Chinese come to see you? Have you heard anything positive on any front?
No, actually, everybody I've talked to thus far are very, what shall we say, annoyed, confused, and frustrated because they're not hearing anything.
Yeah,
and it's going crazy.
I would like to think that silence, well, one, I've been told from a couple sources that were told very specifically to be very quiet. So I'm hoping that quiet is simply a signal or sign of where we're at. That's what I'm hoping.
It makes sense. For me, it's just a respite because I'm continuing with the book. I'm just telling up because of some requirements I have. And for the 5 chapters that I'm writing, I've already accumulated 133,000 words.
Wow.
And I'm not finished.
Yeah, you're not, I mean, any idea how long before you're ready?
Based on what I'm seeing right now, a couple months.
No, that's not too bad. Hopefully we will have RV'd before you release it.
I certainly hope so, because it looks like right now, given the requirements of the publishers that I've seen, I'm going to have to self-publish.
Yeah, no, I knew that one was coming. No part of me ever questioned that one. It raises the individual price of the books, but it also makes you beholden to nobody. And I think that trade-off's worth it.
Well, the difficulty that I find is they want they reserve the right to make changes and reserve the right to put it on the internet. I disagree with that totally. I can't have this on the internet because it's too easy to break up pieces and project something that I didn't say.
I like somebody silence is deafening. Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's them being able to change, control, edit, even if it's just punctuation they don't like or something like that, or that's the excuse. Yeah, how do you say that? You've not had enough control in this process, and then they want to take even more.
I've always been in a sort of a back seat, although it's amazing to me how many people in the White House, the Federal Reserve, and the Supreme Court were scared to death of me, which I can't understand that, but that's the way it is.
Yeah, good. I don't think it's you they're afraid of so much as what you know.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, what do we want to talk about? What do you want to talk about today, Mr. C? Is there anything that is tickling you before we let people just dump on questions? Or
Well, there's a lot of little things happening, but I would just prefer to take the questions and see what happens. And I am still positive. I still have a grain of salt, but I am still positive based upon the reaction from last week's little diatribe about the forgotten people. I see that Trump has shifted a little bit along with J.D. Vance, and have now turned their efforts and focus on satisfying the questions of the little people on how they can solve the problem of affordability.
Yeah, to me, that is like one of the biggest developments in the last 2 weeks is that refocusing, which to me is very important. Yes, Troops, Mr. C Publishing LLC. I like it.
Very neat.
Now, Arizona COSA says, I'll pay double and volunteer to proofread if you need it.
Okay.
SM Smalling, Mr. C, heaven forbid something were to happen to you before the RV. Who will assume your role with codes, with just whatever that job is?
Well, on the code part, there's always somebody standing in the background. I've been told that by Interpol. With regard to the book, I don't have any doubt that my wife and my daughter will make sure that it gets published. They are very adamant supporters.
I have no doubt. And it's like Mr. C can't call me if she needs any help.
Oh, she will.
Steve is saying, Mr. C, would you elaborate on what you said last week about Trump and his possible resistance towards NESARA? A lot of folks were confused last week over the show and some of the responses.
Well, the problem is with NESARA is this. It requires that within 120, 160 days, there be a new national election. And it may well be that Mr. Trump is not too happy about going into a fourth election process, given what's been going on. And who knows what's going to come out. So that was my concern. He's what, 79? He's about 3 years older than me. And I can tell you at 76, going what I'm through, that is a lot of work. At 79, even though he's geared for it, that may be a step too far from him. I don't know. But that's the question I
have. Let's see, what else do we have? Oh, geez. This is Pierre Leone. My friend Philip Marshall published an expose of Bush 9/11. 2 kids and a dog executed. Yeah, speaking comes with a heck of a price, folks. It is way easier to stay small than it is to put your head up. Dominator wants to know if you have ever met personally with DJT.
No. I was given the opportunity in 1990 when we were in New York at the Waldorf Astoria. I was taking on the Rats at that time. But I was offered it by Mr. Cooper, who was one of his real estate people. But at the time, I could not see the relevance. I just had my broker dealer approved. We were in there looking for business and contracts, and I just didn't see the relevance at that time. Since that time, I've had a lot of offers, but I'll tell you honestly, I fear for my life anytime I go outside these doors.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't travel much either, but I'm not willing to live that way yet. Rick.
I'll tell you, I feel for the veteran who fought in World War II, who now says it was not worth it because it's unfortunate that they have railroaded over everything. They have the rat flew over there so bad it's unreal. They've even taken on the palace. Starmer has got himself into a deep hole, and I hope they hang him, but he's trying to take over the land of the crown. Which, how absurd can you get? I mean, it's incredible. That's like saying the White House belongs to the rats and we'll tear it down. Nuts. That's crazy. I believe that Prince William, as well as King Charles, are correct. Hang the bastard.
Oh, I never thought I would be in their camp. but Starmer is what he is trying to do. He's terrifying to me politically, and what he
He's
means
losing the battle
in
as
his
of the last
history.
couple days. Yeah.
Paul wants to know, Mr. C, do you see a parallel system running side by side with the Swift system? There's been a lot of rumors that QFS would run parallel for a while, and then the Swift would just be done away with.
The Swift are incompatible with the new system, QFS and the SIPs, the IPS. The reason is this: Swift gives the banks 72 hours from the time you send money to the time they actually record it and put it where it's supposed to be. That 72 hours allow them to hypothecate it, use it in the platforms, and make money on their own under the collateral agreement that they have amongst themselves. And once you put money in the bank, you agree to that collateral account, a master collateral account, where the bank can do whatever it wants with your money. So no, they're incompatible. Swift goes away immediately as soon as I put the codes in. No dual system.
Yeah, I think there's an excellent chance it has been ghosting it up until they're ready to pull the trigger. But I think once that trigger is pulled, it's gone.
Yeah, I agree.
Mr. C, is the Rodriguez Trust, we're told it's actually an estate, not a trust. Is it part of the gold treaty?
I do not know. When I was talking with the Interpol guys, we never discussed that particular trust or treaty other than the gold treaty, because we were concerned, is it ever going to happen? Now remember, this was in a fight with Senior, W, Cheney, Obama, Colson, Snow, O'Neill. My God. That's why it's taken so long to go through the book, because I am documenting every conversation, every phone call, every quote that we got for 30 some years. And there's a lot of cast of characters.
A lot of them. Let's see. Vision Nancy. Well, let's hit this one because our regular troll's back. And Frank, dear God, buddy, you don't watch enough. We've talked about the Bloomberg article, Bloomberg Law News. We've talked about the fraud in the historic bond market. We've talked about all that. Just because you pop in occasionally casting shade doesn't mean we haven't talked about it. You just haven't been here. It irritates me when we get folks like that because they're too lazy to be here and find out what we've talked about. They just come in shooting at folks instead of listening.
Excuse me, Mark. There are a lot of them out there. And I noticed that just recently, Jim Rickards has joined the club. He's now talking about a $150 trillion trust that was formed in 1872. Now, if one remembers what this is all about, in 1871, we were totally broke because of the Civil War. That's why they went out and they got a loan through the Queen at that time and the Vatican at that time to the United States of America Incorporated. So where the hell did $150 trillion come from?
Yeah. Unless it was perhaps the gold that we put up for charter and for banking, and now it's what it would be worth with interest. I can't make heads or tails when I do the Rickards one, although I do believe Rickards has a very high level of no. That one just isn't making much sense to me as hard as I dig.
He's being fed a lot of BS by the rats.
That's possible.
If we had that much gold, they could have hypothecated it through the Bank of England, who was salivating for our assets at that time, and they would have found a way to get around having a loan that tied up the citizens of America as bonds.
In 2013, we had Obama and Kerry. Who had the authority to sign the gold treaty on behalf of the U.S.?
The military signed it, but they could not find a CEO of the corporation who was willing to declare bankruptcy for the corporation. So, and that was one of the big fights. One must understand, and this comes out in the book, there was $1,000 trillion floating between banks in that time period that they were refusing to give to the rightful owners. And that includes your bonds that were held by the banks. And they tried to pigeonhole it. That's why the fight was with Senior and W and Cheney and Paulson. They all wanted a piece, and they couldn't legally put it on the books. because there was no way to do it. The only thing they came up with is we'll have to issue bonds, treasuries for that money, but they had no way to prove source of funds.
Source of funds is pretty important there, Mr. C. George wants to know if you've had any updates on the R&R. I assume they mean fines and penalties when they say the R&R.
We call them FIPs, fines, interest, and penalties. Updates, no, other than the fact that the fines, interest, and penalties are included in the gold treaty. That's why I'm involved. That's one of the reasons why I'm involved, as well as the CMKM operation.
Here's a good question from Gina. Mr. C, how does parity one-to-one work with all the countries with their resources and value of their countries being different, etc.? I mean, Gina, the short of it is they will be able to issue an amount of currency up to whatever that value is of resources. So you'll have to come up with their resources, have a standard, and let's just say the U.S. has more resources. It may have, I don't know, I'm just going to pick a number. It may have $1 trillion of whatever the new note is. Mexico, who's a fraction of the size, may have 100 billion of the notes in circulation. They just won't have as much circulation. That's how it was explained to me, but she wants to know your thoughts on it, not mine.
The biggest reason for the parity of one-to-one gold-backed currency was the fact that this was play money for the rats. So they could arbitrage the dollar versus the yen on a 25, 35, maybe at points I've seen in writing 100% discount for the US dollar. That's how they make money every day. When I was working with Leo, our biggest contention was he could not get the White House to approve his contracts for JPY USD discount at 35%. And we were floating contracts all over the place, and they would not allow it because it would open the door for the Chinese to allow the chips that they had with over the $21 trillion that belonged to Leo to be paid out. Again, source of funds. They couldn't put it on the books. So the biggest problem and the biggest reason for the one-to-one parity was to make sure we could not arbitrage our currency.
Biscuit Oliver, Mr. C, every corporation has a board. Who were the board members for USA Inc.?
I have no idea. I'm sure it was the president and the vice president. I have no idea.
Yeah, my guess is the board has the usual cast of characters or suspects, like maybe a Diamond, a Fink.
Well, we do know that when Obama,
A Rothschild.
in this in particular, when Obama was elected president, he took the oath. He took 2 oaths. He took a second oath, not in public. So it's quite possible that the members of the Senate, the members of the House who were part of the corporation also took a second oath and approved what was going on with the corporation.
Mr. C, was Bill Clinton really held at gunpoint to sign Nasera Jacera? What happened? Or what happened based on what you know or have been told, I guess I should say?
I was actually advised, and we have in our notes, that it was W that was held at gunpoint by the military, not only at Congress, but also in the White House to sign off on the Nasera Act. And also, really, that's very interesting because the Nasera Act was held for a long time by the Chief Justice Roberts to implement. That was his objective by a world court order. You're going to see a lot of things in this book that's just going to blow the mind. For example, the world court ordered the Supreme Court to effectuate and make sure the gold treaty was executed, to make sure that Cheney did not steal money. He stole trillions with his son-in-law Perry. To make sure that Paulson didn't steal money, which he tried to many, many times with the Chinese in Manamu. It's very interesting history.
Very interesting history. Let's see, where were we at on this one? Had another one. Uncle Bear. Good morning, Mark. Does gifted currency need to be in their possession? Well, MZ and Mr. C. Does gifted currency need to be in their possession before the RV announcement or just before they go to their appointment?
I don't see the distinction.
Yeah, I was always told you can gift it before. You
Yeah,
just have to acknowledge that gift or witness that gift. And then once it goes, hand it to them, say, here, call this number. That's what I was told.
absolutely.
It makes sense for me.
Remember, it's a bearer bond. Currency is a bearer bond. Whoever holds it technically has the full use and power of it.
Let's see. Trying to find more of these, making certain I'm not sitting on a landmine. Want to open one. Mr. C. Stephen Miller came out on CNN, said plenary power that Trump is powered by. Then he suddenly went stone cold silent. Maybe his earpiece said, shh. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I didn't see that or hear about that one.
Plenary power is a very interesting item. One should look it up because it's really something. It goes back to the old days. The president has stupendous powers under plenary power to name and appoint various peoples for sundry reasons around the world, and to take full advantage of those powers within the Constitution. This goes back way long time ago.
White Wolf's going to bring us our next one. Mr. C, since 1963, I've had numerous issues of attacks with wounds on my legs, including an attack on 9/11 with anthrax, the last attack this past year. They stole $8,000 out of the bank, not disclosed. I had to just log into the account, seeing it moving out of the account, trying to stop it. Was impossible. The FDIC is a farce since the bank has multiple lawsuits against them all. It's basically he's letting us know. Yeah, a lot of folks have no idea who White Wolf is, and I need to leave it that way for White Wolf. But yeah, the attack when you do put your head up and speak is extreme.
Yeah, I can tell you that. I've been blackballed for 35 years. So yeah, they can do a number on you. In fact, the only thing that saved my life was the publishing of my master's thesis. And I was told specifically by someone who worked directly for Senior, that's the one thing that made me untouchable. Unfortunately for Chris, it did not save his life.
That's still a sad one. And that may be a conversation worth having would be, who is Chris Story or who was Chris Story?
Absolutely. I miss him every day. His power with words was amazing. He had a very interesting background. He was an economic advisor to Thatcher, and he was on the Queen's Guard. His father was a noted, I won't say a hero, but he was a noted figure in World War II. Very interesting background. Very interesting guy.
Patrick, will there be an independent body to determine the values of resources? In other words, to verify they have the gold or the resources for their currency for when we move to parity?
That's QFS. Always the oversight.
Yeah, who is that keeping everyone equal and honest?
I have no idea. All I know is that it is a situation where they're not going to allow any one country or any one group to monopolize the market, as it has been in the past.
Which, yeah, that's been one of the biggest problems with the market. Treebeard here, does Mr. C agree that the U.S. corporation will finally be replaced with the restored republic after the gold treaty?
That's the aim of Nasara Gassara. That is the aim of this whole process. Transparency, rule of law, source of funds, use of funds, and the organic constitution.
Now, a lot of folks, if we're currently under a corrupt system, who determines the value of the country's assets, the gold, whatever it is that's supporting the money? I know the QFS system tracks its value. I don't know who does the initial valuations, though.
There's an oversight committee that the Interpol process involved when they write the books in 2011 with the BIS. Other than that, I really don't know. It was not a subject we talked about.
Mr. C, in the QFS, who decides what a criminal action is? Who decides to halt money movement? In other words, who steps in when they've overstepped? We keep hearing the system's going to be, we're going to have our anonymity, we're going to be really safe, but at the same time, we keep hearing how they can lock up bad people's money instantly. How does that jive?
Interpol and the military supporting Interpol around the world. The military basically is our backbone. of a new system, which is a merit-based operation.
Ooh, I have no idea, BA Thinker. I'd have to look at the note. Just ask Grok that. Ask AI that. BA Thinker said, where do I find the date mark of the printing for the dog? I can't seem to find it on mine. I don't have one in front of me. I've found it before, but it's been some years since I looked. I doubt you know, Mr. C.
I have no idea.
Uncle Bear, will our RV appointment account be in the bank, in the cloud? Yeah, how do they? I mean, I assume it's similar to how it is now for anything blockchain. It's stored on electrical devices all over the planet, and maybe elsewhere, and that's how they track it. I assume it's going to work exactly the same with QFS.
I agree. I would be very surprised if it's in Microsoft or Google's cloud. I really don't think that's going to happen, but it's going to be in the QFS cloud.
A lot of people worried about this one. Question for Mr. C. Do you think the QFS will be considered digital funds and will cash go away?
No. It'll be digital, yes, under the basis of the QFS, which will be, there'll be currencies, there'll be currency cash as well as coin. And that's in the, if you look up QFS, there's a, from September, I think it was 21, September 2020. They describe in detail the coin that'll be printed and the cash that'll be allowed.
Donna with one, Mr. C, who or what, in your opinion, is holding up the RV from happening?
The rats. More popping up every day. The biggest problem has been safety of your money once it's been released. And that has been a big problem. Right now, when the playing field has been cleared of the rats, which I believe includes narco rats, as well as the other corruption, that's when it'll be released. I'm hoping it's very soon.
Dean, Mark, and Mr. C, if the digital ID happens in the UK after Jashera, will that reverse things? One, yeah, I know we're supposed to get Nasera. I know it's supposed to be a Jacera around the world, but watching what's going on in Europe right now, I'm not so certain anybody's coming to their rescue.
The British military will. They are signatories.
That's good news in my take. Patriot here.
That was described to me by Interpol. The military around the world signed off on this whole gold treaty process before anyone else. It is very, very interesting. Go back to the Monaco Agreement of the early 2000s, and you'll see where the support came from. Because they were sick and tired of the corruption they've had to deal with. In particular, and it surrounds basically the cocaine marketing by the Bush operation and the death squads.
Oh boy, I tell you, I hear this one that's coming up. My son, who's far left, keeps talking about the emails and how Trump won't release the Epstein files. This is really hurting Trump. Keep in mind, and you should tell your liberal son, that the Democrats could have released them at any time in the last administration. If there had been anything with Trump in there, they would have. They attempted to release one this week, and they altered out names and then took out, they selectively edited, even though Virginia Giuffre had already said before in testimony she had seen him at events, but she had never witnessed. So this supposed victim of Epstein said she had never seen anything inappropriate or wrong from Trump. And the administration has released 33,000 pages of them already. They're going through. DOJ is protecting, making certain that any ongoing cases are not compromised, and releasing it. Do I wish it was faster? I do. Do I wish they were more transparent about the process? I do. But compared to the last administration, they're releasing everything.
In my opinion, the Epstein files are the nuclear weapon that will destroy the rats around the world. This is the only way they can control anyone who counters the rats' agenda. And if you look at it, where it stems from, Europe in particular, it has always been the weapon. Even 50 years ago in the military, pedophilia was the weapon. Homosexuality was the weapon. And that is all that they have left. They're swinging in the dirt. They're hitting nothing. got dust clouds, and if they swing too hard, they're all going to swing on the rope.
Yeah, exactly, Charlie. They redacted the name Virginia Jeffrey Gopher, whatever it is, to cause a question. They did. And the problem is there's too many releases of the same thing with the name in there. And it is biting them in the butt hard today. It is biting them in the butt hard. See Ben's 47th. So another birthday there. It's 30 that time. Mr. C, anything else you want to talk about or discuss before I sing happy birthday?
Well, I see Laura Midget 177 is asking and hoping that I will stick around and with the podcast even after the RV. I intend to, because there's going to be a lot of education that will be required once the RV occurs. So yes, I'll be here, and you'll actually be able to see me.
Yeah, that's going to be neat. Perhaps we can do some roundtables in person with each other.
I think that's a good idea.
I think it'd be great. One, I want to thank you for your dedication and your time. And hopefully we get to see you again next week.
Oh, pretty good. I want to say thank you to Lyman. Your comments are very much appreciated. I really, really believe that. And I thank you for your prayers. Yes, thank you for the opportunity to get on a soapbox. It is a chore, let me tell you, but it is one which I appreciate because I know you feel like you're alone. You feel like you're in this fight forever and you'll never survive. I do that every day for my life. But, we have to persevere. Survival is the only way we can win. And we've got to do this. It's for the good of our country, for the good of us, and for the good of our children and grandchildren. So, yeah, I will see you next week. Take care.
Take care, Mr. C.
I know.
Right. The illustrious, notorious Mr. C, a.k.a. the Code Man. Birthdays, and then we've got Matt and Lucas for anybody who would like to stick around, cut up, and find out what the new sales are. So we got Laura, Lebo, Olivia, David, Gloria, Roger, Ben, anybody else sound off in chat so that your friends can wish you the best on your big day. So they tell me it's your birthday. Well, happy birthday, darling. May you live, may you love, may all your dreams come true. Yeah, all right. Happy birthday to you folks. The season change has my voice questionable, still on and off. Happens every year. It's not unique. It's not funny, meaning it's not something funny happening. Happens every year this time of year. It's a season change. Before the rumors start, or the idiocy that God's punishing me for something. Some people are nuts out there. All right, let's add Matt and Lucas.
Good morning, Mark.
Good morning,
Hey,
Matt.
good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Lucas.
Yep.
Yeah, heading up to Chicago right now.
Wait, are you going in there to help bring calm to the streets? Is this like the Punisher, Lucas?
Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. No, negative, Ghost Rider. Just dealing with all this new hemp news and everything coming out, trying to meeting with a bunch of legislators up there and trying to figure out what the next steps are, because it's just kind of getting crazy for what just happened in the last 24 hours.
The threat basically would take very reasonable treatments. And guys, this is something to keep in mind when you do your ordering.
Yeah. So when they signed the bill to reopen the government, they got rid of every opportunity for any industrialization of hemp on the side of anything THC. So any of the Delta 8s that we do for sleep, any of the full spectrum, we have about 363 days before it will no longer be allowed to be sold within the United States. And so now granted, they're still trying to alter it and still try to change it, but as of right now, that is what is signed. So we have 363 days in counting until that gets it. So just keep that in mind, because after, pretty much after next November, uh, there will be no ability to buy anything anymore.
Well, okay, but they didn't even look at it. Okay, they just wanted to get this other stuff done.
I understand. I'm just telling you what was
Yeah.
signed,
I will
and they still
guarantee
have
you they're going to put in rules next spring.
and that's what
What's that?
No, I was saying, and obviously they're going to fight it, right? And I'm just saying, like, as of right now, that is the legislation that has been signed by Trump, signed by both the House and Senate. So as of right now, that is what's happening. And obviously that's why I'm going up here. We're gonna, meet with legislation, try to pursue and try to fight and see what options there are to get this repealed. But yeah, it's going to be a long road.
It's definitely one of those where people are going to need to scream at their elected officials to let them know, because right now the only people screaming at them are the pharmaceutical lobbyists. The basically lobbyists are in the ear because they want to protect an industry that has put a hurting in their pockets and save the people a lot of money as they deal with ailments, aging, etc., with the baby booming age. Same crew that waged the war with Reefer Madness way back when.
Yeah. So I think we're still, we still have a year to fight this and to try to get the repeal done and the overturning of this, signed legislation. But as of right now, it's like, Mark, we're already trying to figure out ways to like, hey guys, let's do a bulk box. We'll vacuum seal it and put it in the freezer or something like that. Trying to figure out ways and options for you guys out there, for us to be able to get you guys large quantities that will be good for years to come. So we're still in the process. We're working on ways, but yeah, that's what we're going to be trying to do.
Here's D. It will all go underground, so the people who will lose are the honest ones. It will. It
You're
is
right.
too big a market. It's too. People are going to figure out either a way around it, or they're just going to be just like they did during Prohibition, guys. They were still getting their alcohol. The Kennedy family was just making a fortune.
But you know what? It won't affect a lot of our products, even if they put it in effect right now.
Basically, just your 9s and 8s.
Yeah, just the 9s and 8s, because we don't get any of the crazy stuff, because we just don't think it's a good source. But yeah, the full spectrum. The good thing is it won't affect the Miracle Gold. Oh, never mind. Yes, it will affect the Miracle Gold. Never mind.
Well, it will affect the one with the THC, the one with the D9 in it.
It'll affect both.
Oh, it'll affect both. So have to reformulate, or you'll have to pretty much just go to how would that work?
We would have to switch over to CBD instead of CBG. CBG won't be allowed along with. So CBG and CBN will both be outlawed as well.
Yeah, but see, what I think is going to happen, Lucas, is they're going to visit all the stuff that was just totally out of control, like the Delta 10 and other products, because when they got this in 2018, they literally had no clue what the stuff even was. Mm-hmm. And so I think that's what's going to happen. I mean, I understand where you're at because you've got these huge companies you deal with, and they're falling off their chair, literally.
Well, and you got to understand too, as us being the manufacturer, we get a lot more visits, right? We've already gotten fined this year. We have visits, unannounced visits all the time. At least once a month, we have, the Department of Health, we have the FDA. We have, we're on the radar because we manufacture. So we have to, abide by the law as it's written. And it's just one of those things where, we have to be a lot more cautious than a lot of the retailers, can be.
Right. I get it. And that's why but here's the thing with Minnesota real quick. the reason we moved over to Wisconsin, the tax on the products over there is as high as 27%, and over in Wisconsin it's less than 6%. Okay, so the consumer in Minnesota is just getting royally screwed, and the companies that stayed there, they're stuck like in a little jail cell. And me being over here and Lucas and the other partners and stuff in Wisconsin, we're freewheeling over here, and man, it's gonna be great. But anyways, so I just wanted to throw that out there. But so don't panic, just there's no reason to panic right now, because by the end, if it does get banned by the end of next year, trust me, we'll get you a supply that'll last you 7 years. So yeah, don't worry about it. Right, Lucas?
Yeah, I think it's going to
Right,
be
Mark?
fine, but at the same time, don't go to sleep, or you're going to wake up and you won't have the option.
Yeah,
Right.
we just like to, and that's why we like to go on the show and kind of inform you guys as to what's going on in the industry, legislation that's going on, and then obviously what's happening on the back end as well as to what we're working on. There's just a lot of different angles, a lot of different functions of what is kind of being played out on a larger screen. So, but as of right now, yeah, we got a year. But we will obviously keep you guys abreast as to how this kind of unfolds.
I'm going to
Yeah.
keep stocking up because I think I'm afraid there's going to be a rush at the end if they're successful. I'm going to
Well,
play it safe.
yeah, and that's I guess I won't impose my opinions on exactly what I feel like it's going to happen, but I feel like we're going to have to completely run the year course, and then there's going to be a fight after. But yeah, I would say if you just be cautious, and then I would say over the next few months we'll start doing larger quantities and doing some good deals to make sure that people can stock up.
Yeah, I just ran
after.
out of D8s. Caught me by surprise last night, and I was like, "Oh crap, it's gonna suck while I get more ordered." But I'm sitting there, can we get the large quantities now? I'm ready.
Well, and that's what I was thinking. I want to talk to Matt about it. Is like going to like either a 60 or a 90 count on the eights,
Yeah,
because
we
I
can
feel
do
like
that.
that would be
Sure.
a better option. We've always just stuck with 30 just because the price point, it keeps the price point down. But it's like people at this point, they're like, hey, if you can give me a good deal on 90, or
take it.
so I don't have to buy 3 jars, I can just buy 1 jar. Maybe that is the better route to go.
Yeah, and then hey, if you're ever in Wisconsin over here, I'll later on I'll give you the address. We got and that was one good thing about not being in Minnesota right now. So we're gonna have a warehouse THC outlet over here, and it's right.
Oh,
we're
that's
gonna have,
awesome.
yeah, Lucas doesn't even know about it. But we're gonna have 2 4x8 signs on a highway. 20,000 cars go by this highway every day. We already got the place rented, and it is going to be awesome because if you're there in the summer and it's a beautiful spot, they got a place you go down the river and the inner tube. We'll have a guy there every day. We already got the guy who's going to work it for us, so it's going to be great. So just go in there.
But
And, yeah, we'll have huge
but yeah,
supplies of stuff.
but I know that we don't have a lot of time on this show, Mark. Maybe we can get into more of the, details and stuff like that that's going on tomorrow. Sorry, Matt, for taking your time up with
no
going over
problem.
the specials and
No,
stuff.
no,
But
that's okay because he needs to hit the specials, and then we reconvene
Yeah,
in the morning. And
we'll do the specials, you guys. So you go to thecbdgurus.com, and then when you get in there, you go to wholesale on top, and then you'll see Mark's name pop up top on the top. Well, he's the only guy. Just hit his name in there. Well, there's a couple other names, but anyways, you go to put in lowercase KRAM CBD if you need to, and then you're in the specials. So at 25 or more, you get a free Gurus 2000 lotion, and so if you get one for 25, you'll get another one free. So anyways, there you go. Anyways, but not just you get to the 25, you're going to get something free, regardless of what it is: oils, soaps, lotions, gummies, whatever. Okay. And then at $50 or more, not including shipping or discounts, receive 10 million Bolivar and 50,000 Dawn. At 125 or more, not including shipping or discounts, receive 20 million Bolivar, 25,000 Indonesia, and then 50,000 Dawn. And then also at 125, there's a discount you can put in, NOV 10. for 10% discount. And then if you need any help with an order, call 612-412-8343 if you're new. And Wendy will help you out, or Amy will take the call. And then the quick specials, we got 2 pounds of coffee for $50. That's $8 off. We got 2 of those quarter pound deals. There's $14, so you get 2 couple bucks off that if you want to give it to your friends and let them try it before they buy a bigger one. We got the concentrates. We have 3 of those for $24. Save a few bucks there. Now the Delta 8. And then we got other specials. Just scroll down, but I want to say the Delta 8 because Mark mentioned it. There's 5 Delta 8s and for $125. And then we're going to give you a free 35 milligram Delta 9 gummies with that for $125. So you get all that, plus you get the discounts, plus you get the currencies, and then the drinks. Everybody, if you want drinks, this might be the last weekend to get those. So order them up, and then you get all. Yeah, just do that. Yeah, and then we got lotions, we got everything, but we'll talk about them tomorrow. Just scroll down, you'll see all the specials. We got some really good ones in there. Okay.
No, absolutely. And you got till tomorrow to get my party bag because I'm out of 8s. I'm just messing with you, Matt. It is a great idea, though.
You know what?
Lucas,
I'll
bigger
send
ones.
you some off today. Mark. Don't worry, we're good.
Uh,
You want a super bag or just a small?
Oh, that's your call. You know I love those big ones.
No.
Oh, he did that to me one, guys. They had like they were changing some potency things, so he sent me like one of the bulk bags that they get. It took like a year to get through it.
Yeah, there you go.
It was fun to look at, though.
Yeah, it was pretty big. All right, that's it for all the specials and the gurus. Thanks for having us on, Mark. And
No,
we'll talk
you're very
tomorrow.
welcome. And don't forget, you can go check out them. And Matt was hard in the Telegram room yesterday answering questions and partying with people at the CBD Gurus Telegram room. But make sure Lucas and I will probably going to do some point this next week a live mushroom talk. Let people ask questions in that room. So it'll be good.
Yep. And don't worry, we got a year, so don't just carry on, get through the holidays, and just think happy thoughts. We're good.
Yeah, exactly. In a nutshell, in the next few months, think about it, and if we get more information, Lucas will share it. You like how I signed you up, Lucas?
I am totally okay with that. That's what I am. Matt doesn't like me because I'm, more of the the reality aspect. Matt's more the, like, hey, everything's gonna be okay. So we kind of balance each other out.
Yeah, no, I'm a firm believer. You got to go thinking things are gonna be great, but at the same time, you got to prepare if they're not. That way, you don't have to worry. You're prepared.
Lucas prepares,
Exactly.
and I just skate along. No, I'm just kidding. No, Lucas has got a lot of pressure right now. So there you go.
All right.
Hey, we all got pressure.
So, well, you guys have a good one, and we'll see you guys in the morning.
All right, you guys take care. Look forward to seeing you in the morning. And one of you have an interesting story for us.
Oh, I'll give you one. Okay.
All right.
Take care. See you.
I'm counting on you. See you, Matt. Everybody else, see you in the morning. Normal bat time for a Saturday. See you then, mods. Thank you very much. Happy birthday to all those celebrating.